If you like what you see, please subscribe and like James's channel. Also, don't forget to click the bell icon so you'll be notified of future train videos.
Well, hey guys, welcome back to the workbench in the JLW studio. Today we're taking a look at two variations of the Scale Trains MultiMax Autoracks. These are Gunderson cars, and Scale Trains has reproduced these in both Rivet counter, Vanna White hand, and operator, Vanna White hand. So you can see the two variations, the operator being the more economical version with plastic side paneling, a little less detail, or the Rivet counter with metal, etched metal sides. We'll take a look at both of these starting now. Alright, we'll just unbox one of these, so we'll set the operator aside, unbox the Rivet counter. Might be a little less paperwork involved or something on the operator, I'm not sure. Don't want to take the time to look at those. First thing, you have to break the tape on the ends. It annoys the heck out of me, but I'm sure it has a purpose. I just kind of do the doorway thing, and it takes care of the other end fairly quickly, especially once they're done though, they're out of the way. And out of the box, the car goes. You can see the light shining on those metal side panels of the operator version. Behind, got some extra wheel bearings because you have spinning wheel bearings on these cars, and sometimes they pop out. Autorack pamphlet talking about all sorts of different stuff. Got the parts listed and parts diagram inside. Ta-da! And then it talks about the Autorack. So instead of me putting a bunch of graphics on the screen, hit pause right about now. You can read all about it. Minimum radius for this 24, recommended 26. I don't have that big a radius to test, so we'll skip that test. But now the car's out of the box, I'll show you the details of both the operator and the Rivet counter, some of the differences, and we'll do some of the Nmra tests. Alright, so here's the Bnsf. I'm kicking myself because I didn't order any UP, so I'm trying to chase some down. I ordered 17 total. People complain about me showing all the different variations and road numbers, so I'll just show a couple here. But Bnsf white, they've also got Bnsf orange. Metal panels, very, very straight on these cars. There's no bowing. Sometimes the metal fluctuates with heat. Not seeing that there. On the ends, separately applied bars for the doors to be open. Little latch bars or whatever you want to call them. Try to zoom in a little bit more for you, but I know it gets hard to see. And you can see all the fine print detail, excess height car. Got this yellow safety area up top, denoting something, I forget what. I think it's how far they open or something, or some of the clearances. Coupler cut bar down at the bottom here is in yellow, connected to a metal Scale Trains coupler. It has a spring. Little platform there with a handrail separately applied on each side. Airline hose with silver tipped end separately applied. Another conduit or hose here separately applied as well. So all that detail on the end separately applied. Etched metal on the side. And then speaking of separately applied, handbrake area here. I'm going to try to zoom in. But that is all separately applied. Brake chain as well, and then the brake chain rigging down here for the actuator area or whatever you want to call that. FRA mandated striping at the bottom, as you see spaced out. These little yellow areas here. So mandated by the FRA in the early 2000s because people that apparently didn't have very high IQs were running into the side of cars or something, so they needed to make sure it was reflective if you're going across a railroad crossing and your headlights are dim or whatever, you're not smacking the side of a train car. So Bnsf here, nicely printed as well. Looks great on that metal. The metal's all corrugated. has corrugated areas here and then tiny little precise holes. There's not a see-through effect, but I can tell you from recent railfan trips that you cannot see through the real thing. So not a see-through effect that you sometimes see on etched metal cars, but these are accurate because they aren't see-through on either the real thing or the car. So you won't be able to get see-through effect. You might get some light bleed, but other than that, that's it. The doors don't open or anything. You can't load these with cars, but there's metal wheels. Trucks have stamped the road number, I believe, on them. My vision's going bad, but as you can see, the trucks are stamped, and then you've got those rolling wheel roller bearing caps on these as well. Probably also hard to see. I know the studio isn't the best for lighting, but you can probably catch that if you're full screen. Alright, underbody. Lots of detail under the body as well. Air reservoirs for the brake lines, where air pressure is stored, the actuating lines, and you've got the underbody bracing for the car itself. I'm just going to give you a quick back and forth of that. Now, on the ends you do have separately applied crew access ladders. One man show here, so sorry about that, but these are separately applied. Stirrups at the bottom look good. They have a prototypical bend inward, which is actually correct. I've seen that on the real cars as well. So it's not like they've been smushed or anything. All of these you will see will have a slight bend inward like that. So that's a real good look at the end as well. And we'll just pan up. And that's kind of your operator in a nutshell, or your rivet counter in a nutshell. And corrugation on the top, obviously. Corrugated roof, metal appearance, but actually made in plastic. Just the side panels are metal. Alright, let's take a quick look at the operator, do some comparison. Okay, just because I mentioned it earlier and I corrected my mistakes, the operator does come with paperwork too. Exploded parts diagram going to be a little different based on the parts, because one of the main differences of the operator is the plastic side panels here. So plastic side panels versus metal is one of the main differences. You still have all of these separately applied parts on the side, so they don't cheap out on you there at all. But that metal is expensive, so that is one difference. But you're getting the car. Operator is going to run you roughly half of what the other one cost you, maybe a little less. I'll put the MSRPs on the screen. I don't have them handy at the moment. I usually find those in editing, and I don't remember what I paid for stuff at all. Alright, on the end, this is where you'll see a lot of difference in terms of detail. So operator is going to be a little more durable. So if you're a rough houser and you need a budget for these, you want to get more, then operator is probably going to be your way to go. But as you can see on the ends, this is where the detail really looks different on the operator versus the rivet counter. So there are these two bars. These are molded in. So you got bar areas here, but all this detail here on all these holes is for a detail kit. I think may come down the pipe or may already be available. I'll correct that on screen too if I see it, but that is for applying your own detail. No coupler cut levers, plastic couplers versus metal. Those are some of the differences in the operator run. NS on the side of this one here, you still get your FRA striping at the bottom. As you can see there, this is a TTGX road car, so you get the TTX logo, newer one down there. As you can see at the bottom right here. So, still some level of separately applied parts. The metal panels on the side and the ends are where you're going to notice the difference if you just notice some things and not all things like I do. Now, quick look at the bottom. Also, a little level of detail difference there. But there's a bottom look. You can see where there are pre-drilled holes for attaching details, but you've got limited details there, but you still have all this brake line rigging here for the brake actuation, and you still get your air reservoir. It's just not running all the way down. So still separately applied ladders that we talked about here that bend in slightly, and still the little end platform, whatever you want to call that. I'll leave that to the experts, Paul Ellis and Mike Hopkin, that always blurt out 5,000 parts and know what they're talking about far more than I do. Here's a nice little side profile of the NS version. Still kind of a reflective appearance, but not quite as sharp as the Bnsf version as you see here. So I've got 15 of these cars that need to be unboxed, but people complain that I show too many schemes and make the videos too long, so we'll just see what people think about this video being a shorter version. I got 3 UPs coming. I've got CSX, Canadian National, and there's all those available from Scale Trains. A lot of them are sold out, so check out your local hobby shop or online retailer for those. Now we'll do some other tests, and I'm just going to go right into it here, where I always run tests with rolling stock. We have this handy dandy cutting mat, which just needs to be straightened out a little bit on the track, but this will tell me the length of the car really easily. So car body is about 12.5 inches long. So it's pretty long car body, and we'll convert that into a test later. There's a body wobble test. We're getting significant wobble with that. Might be alleviated with tightening up these trucks, which do seem a little loose, and make sometimes get screws backing out from their long journey overseas. We'll check the rivet counter. Smooth operation. They roll really well. Still a decent amount of body wobble, but you are talking about very tall cars, so it depends on that. NMRA tests, with that being that long, we'll take a look at the NMRA standards for weight. Alright, NMRA says that a car should have 1 ounce minimum plus half an ounce per inch of car. So this being 12.5 inches long should mean it weighs at least 7 ounces, maybe 7 ounces and some change. So let's take a look at that with both the operator and rivet counter. There's 7 ounces, 7.8 on that. So that's meeting NMRA weight compliance. That's the rivet counter. This is the operator. 7.4, 7.3 also meets the recommended weight. So they both meet the recommended weight, even though the operator is going to be lighter because it doesn't have the metal and the extra detail. So operator is a half an ounce lighter. NMRA coupler height compliance with the rivet counter here. Appears to be dead on, but you be the judge, as I've got an offset view on that end. And this end appears to be dead on. I know we're having a little bit of focus problems, but there. So dead on both ends of those. We'll check the operator. Some genius made this metal, which means I had to turn off track power. And that is almost on, but you be the judge. It's on to me. Man. There we go. And it appears very close, if not right on. Alright, NMRA compliance, both the operator and rivet counter are looking good so far. We just have wheel sets left, and then I will deem these NMRA compliant. These series of tests I like to do to ensure that you have an objective look at this car. Too many times I get accused of just being an infomercial with all of these tests. They speak for themselves on NMRA compliance and whether the manufacturer is really meeting all of the standards of the NMRA and standards of many modelers. So both of those are in the standards gauge of HO scale compliance with the Nmra. So these cars are completely NMRA compliant. You be the judge on the coupler height, but they looked close enough to me. You know, some people have stricter standards than I do. That, my friends, is going to be it for the HO scale MultiMax cars from ScaleTrains.com. Now these are Greenbrier, Gunderson, MultiMax, Autoracks cars. ScaleTrains.com is where you can pick them up, or if your online retailer or local hobby shop carries the ScaleTrains.com brand, you can pick them up there, as well as a lot of them are sold out online. With that said, no run by. Sorry I didn't show you more schemes. Go to HO Scale Product Reviews on Facebook. That's facebook.com/HO Scale Product Reviews. And I should have a run by of these MultiMax cars with all the different schemes in the coming weeks. But for now, that's all we got for the review. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on my channel. Take care.